Hey everyone, it's Tom Seymour from VHS Massacre. I figured I'd do a little update, kind of tell you what I'm up to. I don't podcast that often these days. I really try to concentrate more on, making and releasing feature-length films. I sort of dabble in social media, but I'm not a sort of large presence here. I was back in the day, back when I was basically the start of YouTube and MySpace, if you believe it or not, '07. We did a lot of stuff with worked with this company called Black 20, which eventually was sold to Fox, and we did a lot of high-profile YouTube stuff. Got YouTube nominations for Best Series, and I think it was called a Broadband Best Series Emmy nomination through MySpace. Anyway, but it has been a long time since then, and basically my online presence, the biggest thing I'd done online was mostly the podcast, which was originally called New York Cine and was the number one podcast 2 or 3 times on Podbean. But even that was about 10 years ago now. Oh my God, that means wow, Black 20 was more like 13, 14 years ago. Wow. So anyway, and since then, I've sort of been kind of keeping on life support. I converted over to a VHS Massacre radio because in the world of independent feature-length films, my greatest success has actually been those VHS Massacre and VHS Massacre 2 documentaries about how media consolidation has kind of killed the American independent film, and then also how that compares to what Blockbuster did to the independent film video store scenes. Those have by far been the biggest films I've done. And so since then, I tried starting another documentary a few times and had a few false starts. And then what I decided to do is I wanted to try to make a new film out of some of the older footage I had shot on another film from 10 years ago. So this new film is called The Exorcism of Fleete Marish. It has new footage. Also, the main footage is from a film called Mark of the Beast. But it has a brand new score. It's a new aspect ratio in black and white. Totally new edit. New beginning, new ending. And it's been totally degrained and in black and white. And there's no narration in this version, so it's just so different. I felt fairly comfortable calling it a newish film, and I decided to sort of try the festival circuit and see what I could do with it. So Matt Ford designed a new poster, and basically I have the trailer here. What is interesting, though, is that when I started researching film festivals, I thought to myself, well, I want to be very frugal about what I enter and how to enter, because this is a niche film. It's horror, but I don't know if everyone's going to want to take this film. So what I did was I started researching film festivals on Film Freeway. And what I found was, I'll start from the bottom. There are a ton of festivals to enter for next to nothing. So Tim Coolig and I partnered up. We spent less than $500 on festivals. About, I'd say 20 of them were free. And let me just show you some of this stuff, okay? So this was $10 to enter. Fiction Fest, Fantastic Horror. Wasteland was $0. Buenos Aires Horror Film Festival, $6. This was Swansea Horror Film Festival was only $5 for 5 categories. Toronto Horror Fest, $5. Tabloid Witch, $10. Monster Film Fest, $22. Knox Film Fest, $9. Bloody Flicks, $5. Fantasy Fest, $12. Film Audit 2.0, $0 for Fantastique Festival, Soho. $7. Cinema Panic, $6. Burn, Dead and Sunburied, $6. Mentone, $5. Scream Queen, $13. Halucienda, $3. Terror, $10. I'm gonna probably go through all of these. Hopefully, it won't get too boring. But if you've made a horror film, it could be a bit of a cheat sheet for you. If you're entering stuff. Thrill and Kill, $6. Dracula, free. Dracula Fest. Everywhere Sean actually won. I think it's the I forgot what they called it. It was like the Dracula Award she won. Cineville, $0. Ninth Silk Road International, $0. Hysteria Fest, 0. Liftoff Filmmakers, 0. This one we actually already got into, and I think what they do is they do like an online thing for a week or two, and then if people like it, then they actually play it at Pinewood Studios, which is where Star Wars screened and all that. So Liftoff is very popular. Latest Visions, 0. Halucienda, yeah, we already went over. Swansea. Horror Island, 15. As we go up, some of these we paid for sure. $30. Montreal Requiem. We got into there last year with VHS Massacre. That's just an awesome festival, so we definitely have paid here and there. Horror Movie Awards, excellent, So as you go up, some of these are, paid ones. But honestly, I would say, yeah, probably. So you can see some of the stats. This might be fascinating for people, filmmakers who like numbers, right? So over half of these were free to enter. And then, well, maybe half, right? And then a lot of them were just like $5 a piece or something like that. 43 undecided, 1 selected. So that means if we even got into a third of those, which would be actually really good, then we would be in a significant amount of film festivals. Maybe 12 festivals we get into. If I go to my dashboard, you can see down here, it's interesting. So 45 total submissions, 1 selection, 43 pending. So it's 100% selection rate because only one festival has judged us right now when we got in. McLeod was this documentary, 25-minute doc I did about Kevin McLeod, the king of royalty-free music. 33 submissions got into 10, 30% selection rate. That is actually pretty high. That's high right there. Check this one out. 68 submissions, 24 selections, 1 pending, 37% selection rate. And I have to tell you, we entered a bunch of ones that were not through here. World Fest Houston and the Telly Awards and a bunch of other stuff. So our selection rate for VHS Massacre 2 was over 40%. It had a lot to do with what we picked. We tried to pick things that we thought were very specific of it. I don't believe we entered anything like Sundance or Slamdance because those are corporate festivals. They don't really play independent films. Those are just films that are sort of made within the one step outside of the studio system, like a producer, quote unquote, raised money outside of the studio system and then selling the film right back to the company they used to work for or something. Like that's the best scenario. So most of these films are not really independent films. New York Film Festival is not independent. Sundance is not. None of those places are. Now, I know some people that I've met over the years that have gotten into festivals like Tribeca, and they've gotten into festivals like Sundance. Typically, that only happens when they pick up an agent, and the agent thinks they can make some money selling the project. So the odd thing, it's not because the film is any better. As a matter of fact, a lot of independent films never have producers, reps, or agents or any of that stuff. And a lot of those films are really good. It's just if the agent thinks the agent or the producer's rep is in the studio system, ecosystem, you could call it. And if they think they can sell the film, then they can get it in there. They can grease the wheels. So that's not exactly fair. Fair fair isn't a great word. It's not necessarily ethical, and these festivals are not necessarily based upon the quality of the film and the merit of the film. It's just like commerce, right? So we know that, right? We're not teenagers anymore. We know that in the United States, the film industry is for profit, So that is part of it, but and then there are other cases where maybe I knew someone who got into Tribeca because they knew and they knew one of the programmers, and then it becomes a difficult choice to make. But I think with a film like mine, for instance, I would deliberately go after smaller horror film festivals because there'd be a better chance that they would take my film, and those type of film festivals are really kind of quaint. Like maybe you're able to attend one and maybe there's only like 30 people in the audience, but they're really excited. And so I think it actually, you can end up building a fan base. And as a matter of fact, companies like Troma have done that for over 40 years. Attending convention screenings and just having tables at conventions and festivals and all that stuff, and even running their own festivals. Troma will do an event, and some events there's 500 people at, and some people there's 50. And they will treat everyone great either way. And I think that's why companies like Troma have stayed around for that long. So... so that's basically it for my festivals. You can see the breakdown of where my stuff seems to play. Look at this, 182 submissions. Wow, over a long time, maybe a decade, I'm not sure. Heavy in the United States, but throughout Europe and Australia. Wow. South America, pretty cool. India? That's pretty sweet. Anyway, hopefully there's some information here that is useful to you. Again, it's very easy to set up a film freeway press kit, and it's cool. It's really automated. Like they will get the screener right here, and they'll be able to watch the film, and then once you get into the screenings, you could start listing them here. So right now I just have one. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.